Now to work out the PUBG problem. This one was a little bit more complicated than the Fortnite one. To start off, we make our table. Time, change in x, change in y, acceleration in the x, initial velocity in the x, final velocity in the x, acceleration in the y, initial velocity in the y, final velocity in the y. We know that the time is 2.9 seconds. We do not know the change in the x direction. We do know the change in the y because it was a full arc. The change in the y is 0. Acceleration in the y we do not know. The initial velocity in the y we'll find out in a bit, as well as the initial velocity in the x. But we do know the final velocity in the x is just the initial velocity in the x. The final velocity in the y is the negative initial velocity in the y. So to work out the initial velocities, we have our triangle. We know that the theta in here is 30 degrees. We know that the initial velocity of the entire system is 111 kilometers an hour. Using dimensional analysis, that works out to 30.833 meters per second. And if we just do sine and cosine formulas to get the initial velocity, we find that initial velocity in the x is 26.702 meters per second, and the initial velocity in the y is 15.4165 meters per second. We now plug these into our table. I'm going to put abbreviated versions of them there, but doing the calculations I will always use the decimals. So roughly 26.7 and roughly 15.4. That was nice little quick. Just had to remember your trigonometry using sine and cosine to get the two there. Alright, now if we go on to solving the actual problem. Just erase all of this real quick. Alright, we solved the problem. We needed to find the change in the x direction. This is rather straightforward. That is 0. So change in x equals 26.702 times 2.9 plus 1/2. And the acceleration is 0. So this entire half here goes to 0. So we're left with the change in x equals 26.702 times 2.9, which just gives you the change in x was 77.4358 meters. There you have it. Now, in the next little bit, I'll be explaining the bonus, but that was the basic PUBG problem. You just have to remember that when they give you only one initial velocity, it's the hypotenuse of a triangle, because they'll give you a theta with it, and you just need to do sine and cosine to get y and x. Alright? Good job.